There's been a lot of talk lately about retirement math being either simple or terrifying. Here's the adult version. Because the most dangerous retirement risk isn't a market crash. It's a market crash at the wrong time. And I keep seeing people plan for the wrong enemy. They obsess over average returns. They build spreadsheets around average returns. They sleep soundly because their average return looks fine. And then reality shows up and reminds them that averages don't pay bills. Timing does. And I think you deserve the full story. So here it is. I'm recording this video right now because this topic is quietly costing retirees real money. Comment where you're watching from so I can see how far these videos travel. And real quick, if you value calm numbers first retirement breakdowns like this, do me a favor. Subscribe and comment Retirement Risk Watch so the algorithm knows you want more of this. Now, in case you haven't seen what I'm talking about, here's the claim making the rounds. As long as your average return is good, you're fine. Markets always recover. Just stay invested. And on the surface, it sounds airtight. It sounds like patience is the whole game. But when you slow it down piece by piece, and you look at what withdrawals do to a portfolio during a downturn, you realize the reality is more nuanced. That's clean. It's also incomplete. So I'm going to break down three things. First, what sequence of returns risk actually is and why it hits retirees differently than accumulators. Second, the mechanism. How two people with identical average returns end up in completely different places. And third, the practical defense system that addresses this specific risk without pretending you can predict the market. So, let's start with what we can verify in plain English. Sequence of returns risk is the danger that the order of investment returns, not just the average, can permanently damage a retirement plan. Here's the clean way to think about it. During accumulation, you're adding money. Market drops are buying opportunities. The order of returns matters less because you're not pulling from the machine. But the moment you retire and start withdrawing, the machine runs in reverse. Now the order of returns matters enormously. A bad sequence early is not a temporary setback. It can be permanent damage. And here is the moment this clicks for most people. Take two retirees. Same starting portfolio size. Same average return over 30 years. Same withdrawal amount. But retiree A gets good returns early and bad returns later. Retiree B gets bad returns early and good returns later. Same average, same math on paper, completely different outcomes. Retiree A is fine. Retiree B might run out of money. That is sequence of returns risk. Same average. Different interpretation. Different life. Now, here's why this matters beyond theory. When markets drop early in retirement and you keep withdrawing, you are selling more shares to generate the same cash. Because prices are lower, you use up more of the portfolio per dollar of spending. And those shares you sell at a discount are gone. They don't participate in the recovery, so when the market bounces back, your portfolio bounces back on a smaller base. That is how the damage compounds. Here's a question for you. When you think about retirement risk, do you think more about market crashes or about running out of money? Comment crashes or running out. Because those feel like the same thing, but they're actually different problems. Okay. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most people prepare for a crash by checking their allocation. I have 60% stocks, 40% bonds, I'm fine. And allocation matters. But allocation alone is not the answer to sequence risk. Because even a conservative portfolio can create sequence damage if you're withdrawing heavily without a runway. The mechanism is simple. Spending is a fixed pressure on the portfolio. In good markets, the portfolio grows and can handle the withdrawal. In bad markets, the portfolio shrinks and the withdrawal takes a bigger percentage of a smaller number. And that changing withdrawal rate is the early warning signal. This is why one of the ways financial researchers think about sequence risk is by watching what happens to your withdrawal rate over time. If your withdrawal rate starts rising rapidly in the early years of retirement, not because you're spending more, but because your portfolio value dropped, that is a stress signal. And the longer it stays elevated, the more dangerous it becomes. Now, here's the skeptical alternative. Someone will say, just rebalance and stay calm. That's plausible. Here's how it can fail. Rebalancing helps with allocation drift, but it doesn't solve the forced selling problem if you need cash and your whole portfolio is down. You still have to sell something. And if the only liquid thing is the part that's down, you're still doing damage. So what does this actually mean for you? It means the defense against sequence risk is not prediction. You cannot predict when the bad years will come. The defense is structure. You build a structure that survives bad early years without forced selling. And that structure has three components. Component 1, the cash runway. This is the shock absorber. If you have 12 to 24 months of essential spending in safer, liquid assets, you can fund life without selling stocks in a downturn. The runway gives the portfolio time to recover without being drained during the damage period. Component 2, thermostat spending. In bad markets, you reduce flexible spending, not your whole life. The optional stuff. Travel, upgrades, extras. You turn the thermostat down slightly so you're not pulling as hard from a stressed machine. Small adjustments early can make enormous differences over a decade. Component 3, withdrawal rate monitoring. You watch your withdrawal rate, not just your balance. Because your balance can look okay while your withdrawal rate is quietly climbing into danger territory. Same numbers, different interpretation. Now, here's a simple action plan. No drama. Step 1, write down your essential monthly spending, not your total spending. Essentials. The number your plan cannot go below. Step 2, calculate 1 year of essentials. Decide how many months you want as a runway, 12, 18, 24, and set that as a target for your now bucket. Step 3, pick your spending thermostat. Identify which spending categories are flexible, travel, dining, gifts, upgrades. These are the first levers you pull when markets stress the plan. Write them down in order. In a storm, you follow the list. You don't negotiate. Write it down. Decide X first, then Y. Now, I want to give you a way to stress test your own plan right now. Imagine markets drop 25 to 30% in year 1 of your retirement. Not 30 years from now. Year 1. Answer these 3 questions. 1. How many months of essential spending do I have in assets that are not in the drop? 2. Can I reduce total spending by 10 to 15% without feeling like my life is over? 3. Does my withdrawal rate stay manageable or does it spike to a dangerous level? If you can answer yes to the first 2 and manageable to the third, your plan has sequence risk protection. If you can't, you have work to do. Don't wing it. Don't guess. Now let's talk about what makes sequence risk worse. Because prevention requires knowing the full enemy. Enemy 1. Retiring right before a long downturn with no runway. The portfolio is under immediate stress with no shock absorber. Enemy 2. Rigid spending. No thermostat. Every year gets the same withdrawal no matter what the market does. Enemy 3. Overconfidence in allocation. Thinking 60-40 is the whole answer. Enemy 4. Ignoring cash drag. Holding too little in liquid assets because cash earns nothing. The cost of forced selling in a down market is far worse than the cost of holding a modest runway. Now, let's map 3 plausible paths without pretending we can predict the exact market. Path 1, good early years. In this world, sequence risk is low. Your portfolio grows, your withdrawal rate stays sane, and you refill the runway from gains. The system barely needs to work because conditions are favorable. Path 2, Moderate early turbulence. In this world, the runway absorbs the hit. Thermostat spending reduces the drain. The portfolio takes a hit but not permanent damage. You recover without panic selling. Optional path 3. Severe early downturn for multiple years. In this world, this is the real test. The runway gets used. Spending cuts happen. Withdrawal rate is watched carefully. And the plan either holds because you built structure, or it breaks because you were depending on favorable markets to bail you out. I'm not predicting it. I'm saying it's within the set of things life can do. That's not a doom call. That's a planning call. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people who suffer from sequence risk don't lose because of a bad investment. They lose because of a combination of bad timing, no runway, and rigid spending that forces selling at the worst possible moment. And the fix is available before retirement. The cost of not having the fix is not. Here are the rules I use, and you can steal them. 1. Decide your maximum withdrawal guardrail first. Write it down. If you're losing sleep, you're pulling too hard or you're invested too aggressive. 2. When markets run hard and you're up a lot, refill your cash runway. Not forever, just enough to buy you time. 3. Don't confuse income with safety. A high yield is not a safety guarantee. 4. The best time to make a retirement decision isn't when you're scared or hyped. It's when you can still breathe and do the math. So here's what we covered. Sequence of returns risk means the order of returns, not the average, can determine whether your plan survives. The mechanism is forced selling at depressed prices early, which removes shares that should have participated in the recovery. The defense is structure, runway, thermostat spending, and withdrawal rate monitoring. The real risk isn't just the market. It's timing, taxes, and behavior. So if you're near retirement or newly retired, stop focusing only on average return. Focus on what happens if year one is ugly. Now here are my questions for you. First, do you currently have a cash runway in place, yes or no? Comment yes or no. Second, which would hurt you more, a 30% market drop in year one of retirement or a slow 10-year grind of weak returns? Comment year one crash or slow grind. If you got value out of this, subscribe and comment Retirement Risk Watch so I know you want to follow up when the next update hits. And if this helped you, share it with someone who's trying to retire without making expensive mistakes. All right, take care of yourself, stay sharp, and I'll talk to you soon. And just so we're crystal clear, this is educational content and commentary. It's my take based on publicly discussed information and my own reasoning. And it's not personal financial advice. I'm not your advisor. I don't know your goals or your risk tolerance, and I could be wrong. Do your own homework. Consider your situation, and if you need personal advice, get it from a qualified professional who knows your situation.